How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and today we have an unboxing to do. Finally had a few bucks saved up so that I could take advantage of CDN Records 50% off sale that's going off here in May. Definitely had to sink my teeth into the long list of discographies that CDN Records had, and thanks to Craig for putting that 50% off sale up for us to take advantage of. Really appreciate it. So with that, I got 4 Thrash and 4 Slam related albums in here, and we're gonna unbox this puppy right now. Very well packaged. I'd be very surprised if the Canada Post could do too much damage to this with how much protection he added to this. Alright, so that's the first layer off. Now let's open the box inside the package. Alright, so there we go, there's that little stack there. Just gonna take off these elastics. Nice. Threw in a free CDN record sticker. That'll be going on my coffin shelf there. Alright, so let's go through what we got here one at a time. So, first up is an album by Rampage. This is The End of Tomorrow, the 2009 second album by this band. And if you don't know who Rampage is, I sure as heck didn't at first either. I kind of honestly just saw the album cover there and looked it up on YouTube, and it was really good. So anyways, Rampage is a thrash kind of power metal band mix with some speed metal in there for good measure. Project from Boston, USA, that started around 1995. Besides this, they also have 3 EPs prior to their first album, which is Spectral Rider, that came out in 2005, and after that they had an EP in 2008, and finally their third album when they returned in 2017, called The Return of the Spectral Rider. So yep, they have this, 2 Spectral Rider related albums and 4 EPs to check out. So if you look this up and you enjoy it, definitely check out the other few releases they have in their discography. I can't wait to get this slapped on my laptop and thrown on my phone so I can listen to it while I'm social distance going for walks and stuff like that, which I really need to do because I feel like I'm gaining some couch potato miles for sure. But yeah, check out Ravage, The End of Tomorrow, excellent power thrash from Boston. Alright, next inside here we got Kemacite, and this is their first release from 2015 called Episodes of Insanity. They are a thrash band from Costa Rica, so that's pretty neat. Always cool to have some music from countries that you're not used to getting stuff from. They started in 2008, but before they were called Kemacite, they were known as Conqueror in 2006 and 2007, and then changed their name in 2008 to Kemacite. For obvious reasons, they didn't call themselves Conqueror because there already was a band in Canada called Conqueror, so that's probably why they changed it to Kemacite. Besides this, they have a second album called The Act of Retaliation 2017, and a third album called Inequality in 2019, so just last year. If you enjoy Kemacite, they've got a couple of things to check out besides this album. Their first one, Episodes of Insanity, from 2015. There's the disc there, just in case you were wondering. I don't really know if there's too much behind the tray. Now, just that. Also looking forward to throwing this on the phone and checking it out. Alright, next is a EP by the band Game Over, which is a thrash band from Italy that started in 2008. Besides this EP, which is actually their second EP, and from 2017, they also have an EP in 2009, and then the other album that I actually own by these guys called For Humanity, that was in 2012. So I got a little bit of catching up to do between this EP and the first album, because they also have a second album called Burst Into the Quiet from 2014. They also have a third album called Crimes Against Reality in 2016, and a fourth album called Claiming Supremacy in 2017. So yeah, I got a bit to collect in between there, but this I had to get just because it showed up on CDN, and I'm a big fan of Game Over. Really good thrash, and they have a couple of interesting covers on this EP from what I'm aware of. They have a cover of You Spin Me Around and a cover of My Poi, I don't know how to pronounce that, which is an Italian version of the song called No More, and 3 live tracks, so that's cool. Not too much on there, but I wouldn't mind seeing how they sound recorded live. Sometimes thrash bands sound better live than they do on CD, so it'll be a good experience to find out. But yeah, that's the second EP by Game Over called Blessed Are the Heretics from 2017. And the last thrash album that I had to get, and I've taken way too long to acquire this considering it's Canadian thrash, gotta represent your home country, but this is Tarafire with the Weapons of Thrash Destruction album. This is actually their second album. A lot of people don't realize that this is actually their second album. They think it's their first one, but it's not. I also believe this is probably the reissue. I don't believe this is an original press. I believe the first issue had like a green logo instead of the red logo, or a yellow, maybe green or yellow logo. I know this one is probably the reissue, but anyways, yeah, besides this, they actually had an album before this called Destroyers of the Faith from 2012, and then after that they had a EP called Metal or Death in 2013. Yeah, another interesting fact about these guys that I wasn't even aware of until I kind of did the research on it was they were called Skullhammer from 2003 to 2012. So technically Tarafire has been around for quite a few years. Very interesting stuff. So I wouldn't mind maybe trying to dig around on YouTube or somewhere else and seeing if I could find their Skullhammer stuff. Very interesting to, you know, discover that. But yeah, so British Columbian Canadian thrash Tarafire with their second album Weapons of Thrash Destruction from 2017, more than likely the reissue, but yeah, glad to finally have that in the collection. I know Chris Thrasher from JF Films talks about it quite a bit. Alright, so that's it for the thrash. The next 4 are going to be slam related. The first one is going to be the least slam related, because I know some people don't consider this genre or this band like legit slam, but whatever. I had to get this once I saw that it was reissued, because the original one's probably quite expensive and I don't feel like spending a whole lot of money on only about 4 songs. But this is Vulvodynia's reissue through Chugcore of their first EP called Lord of Plagues. So slightly different artwork with a different, or not, well, not the artwork's different, but like it's got a different color scheme than the original one. I think it was a little bit muted and a little bit more beigey looking and not so like orange and yellow. This one's very contrasted looking, so that's cool. If you don't know who Vulvodynia are for some reason, they are a kind of a slamcore / brutal death metal band from South Africa, so that's neat at least. And they started in 2014. Once again, this is their kind of debut EP from 2014, but this is the 2019 Chugcore reissue. Besides this, they also have their 2014 debut album called Cognizant Castigation, a second EP in 2015 called Finis Omnium Ignorantum, and a second album called Psychosadistic Design in 2016, and finally a third album called Mob Justice in 2019, which I haven't checked out yet. I'm assuming it's good. I've only really heard their first two albums and this back in the day, so I'm gonna have to check out Mob Justice. Let me know what you think of that one. But yeah, pretty stoked to get this kind of rare first beginnings of Vulvodynia. I know a lot of people kind of shit on them for not being like legit slam and having like that deathcore element. It says South African bulldozer slam, which I can already hear the elitists screaming and pulling their hair out in the comments, but just calm down, okay? It's just music. So there's that. And then I got a couple of splits. I kind of consider this next one to be a slut rot split because that's the reason I purchased this, and I want to purchase more slut rot stuff in the future. And I don't really know too much about the other two bands besides Gore Pot that's on this, but yeah, this is Slam Season with Slut Rot, Pestilent, Gore Pot, and Embryonic Decay. So I don't know much about Embryonic Decay or Pestilent. I obviously know Gore Pot. I got a few of their albums in my collection, and when I saw that CDN Records had this Slam Season split with Slut Rot on it, I had to get it because I also had, I think, another split or EP or something that I had favorited on the site and was going to buy it, but then I guess it sold out. So this is the last Slut Rot related CD on there. So I had to pull the trigger on this and get it. It is a limited edition digipack split. Glad that he has the replaceable plastic cover on it. My copy is 85 out of 100, as you can see there. Not a low number, but at least I have a copy, so you know that's good enough for me. I'm just happy to have the music, as I usually say. Love the different colors, love the different logos on there. Very simplistic, kind of brutal artwork as you normally see on these kind of things. You definitely can tell what you're going to get into when you see that artwork. I don't know if there's anything behind the tray. Probably just black if I could take an educated guess. Okay, well, it's not just black. There is some art there, but you can't quite make it out on camera here. The descriptions of what the bands are on here are pretty funny. If you want to take a second and pause that and read that out. Some of them are really amusing what they say about them. Autumn is slam season. Experience and behold 4 guttural bludgeoning slam death metal together for one sickening split. Yeah. I can't wait to throw this on. It's been a while since I've listened to slam or brutal death metal, so perhaps these next couple of things will get me on the train again and start piquing my interest for this genre. If you don't know who Slut Rot is, it is a slam band from the US, from different states, I believe, and they started in 2013, split up in 2015, got back together to do a split and a full length, and then they broke up again in 2019. So other than this split that was released in 2017, they also had a demo in 2014, a self-titled EP in 2015. They did a split with Nephrectomy in 2018, and finally releasing their full-length Slaughtered Slut Stories in 2019 before once again breaking up. So there's a little bit of backlog to get, as well as this split. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they split up a couple of times, because it's actually a really, really good project. Very brutal, very groovy, crunchy slams. So if you're interested, definitely check them out. Happy to get this Slam Season EP, or split rather. Alright, the second split that I got in here is called Rampage, and I'm going to consider this a Trauma Tommy split just for the sake of what the other release I have in here is, and kind of one of the big reasons to get this split, basically, for me at least. It comes in a cardboard slip sleeve, slip cover, whatever. So that's what it looks like with the sleeve. Also really cool, it's a Canadian release through Putrid Coffin Records. I love their logo and everything. Just bleeding, kind of brutal coffin, and the The Canadian flag looking pretty brutal as well behind it. And inside you can see the original artwork there with the Yeti or ape or whatever that is. I'm assuming it's a Yeti or Bigfoot or something, just ripping a bunch of dudes apart in a pile of entrails, just chilling on the cave floor. Kind of awesome, gotta say. And then all the track listings from the bands and whatever here. So on this split is Agonal Breathing, and they are a brutal death metal band from the US and Venezuela. So just an internet slam band, basically. They started in 2017, and besides the split, they also have an album and 2 demos. So besides Agonal Breathing, there's also Gangrenectomy. Gangrenectomy, that's a little tongue twister. They're slam. They also have 2 other albums and 2 EPs that you could potentially get. They started in 2009, and they're from Italy. And finally, the other band on here, Pit of Toxic Slime, which I love the name of that band. They're also from Italy, started in 2014. They have 2 EPs and 1 full-length album. So if I enjoy what they did on this, I might try to pick up some other stuff. Gangrenectomy, I guarantee, is pretty good. I can't remember what Agonal Breathing is like, or who's all in it, but I think I remember them being pretty good. They also do a couple of covers on here, apparently. They do a cover of Slit Wrist Savior by Carnifex, and yeah, some interesting stuff on here for sure. Can't wait to dig into that and see which of the 4 bands in here I prefer most. I mean, obviously I'm a sucker for Traumatomy, but out of the 3 other bands, being Agonal Breathing, Gangrenectomy, and Pit of Toxic Slime, we'll have an interesting showdown there. Yep, I'm a sucker for slam splits. I don't know how long you've been watching my channel for, but if you've been watching for any sort of length of time, you'll know I'm a sucker for slam splits. I don't know if I showed you the inside. I should probably do that before I chuck this away. Oh, it's nothing really big. It's just the artwork on the front. But yeah, happy to have some more multi-artist slam to check out and listen to. So there's the 2 splits. And the last thing on here, which I kind of said ran into this, and why the reason I considered it a Traumatomy split, was because I also got another Traumatomy album that I didn't have. This being the Beneficial Amputation of Excessive Limbs EP from 2014. This is their 2nd EP, their first one being Transformation into a Putrid Mass. I believe I own that. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, I do have Transformation into a Putrid Mass, and as far as I'm aware, this is part of the Morbid Generation Underground series. It's pretty rare, pretty hard to get, probably pretty expensive too if you want to find it. More than likely on Discogs, if anywhere. I doubt Morbid Generation has any of those left. So I'm missing the next one in the series though, that being Traumatomy's first album, Transcendental Evisceration of Necrogenic Beasts, or whatever it's called. Don't have that one, unfortunately, but I do have this that comes after it, so I now have the Beneficial Amputation of Excessive Limbs EP. That's another piece to add to the Traumatomy. And then after Transcendental Evisceration of Necrotic Beasts, I'm probably saying that wrong, but yeah, comes the 2nd album, and that is Monolith of Absolute Suffering. And then the 3rd EP, Embodiment of Excruciation in 2017. So I got a few of them. I'm only missing their first album now, I believe, and maybe a couple of splits, but I have almost all of the Traumatomy releases now, and I'm pretty stoked about that. So after I track down Transcendental Evisceration, I'll have them all and be a collection nerd. Yay. So anyways, that's it for this collection. Hope you enjoyed this 8 CD unboxing from CDN Records, which isn't Canadian Records, it's actually Civilian Death Records. Anyways, that's it probably for a while. I don't really expect anything coming in too soon. I have maybe a couple of comics that still need to get here, and that's about it. We will see when I can order some more stuff. Before we go, just want to show off my Slammerella shirt that I might still eventually throw in a giveaway in the future and get myself the new upgraded version of the shirt probably around the end of the month, because I don't know, this one's not doing it for me, but if you're a fan of the channel, maybe you'll enjoy it. Thanks again to Craig for having that 50% off sale going on in May. Saved me a heck ton of money, because this probably would have been over $100 worth of merch after tax and shipping got thrown on it if it had been regular priced. So thank you so much, Craig. Go check out CDN Records. Save yourself some money on some thrash and slam and some black metal or whatever ails you. Hell, he even has cyber grind. So there's that. Anywho, that's it for me. For Glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slammerella out.